All right, and welcome to the Online Network of Independent Learning Professionals. I am Patty Bryant, the host of ONILP, and today we're going to be speaking with Sharon Arena, marketing strategist. We're going to actually be discussing one of the most popular topics that comes up a lot in the community. One of the number one questions we get, especially from people who are new to independent learning professional arena, it's how do I get clients? And so that's like, how do you create a marketing plan? How do you use social media wisely? Those type of things. And if you're like me, a lot of us, I think when we first start this independent journey, we just, throw stuff on the dartboard and see what sticks. I mean, we just like start working with anyone, trying to find any clients. And so I think, a much better way, obviously, is to actually have a plan about what you're trying, to do, just as with anything. And I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Dawn for reaching out and kind of connecting Sharon with the community. And they're working on Dawn's marketing plan. And so that's, I think, how they've kind of met there. But anyway, Sharon, I just want to say thanks again for spending some time with us this morning. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen.
Okay.
And if you want to share your screen, you can. You could just hit the share screen button at the bottom. And then maybe tell us a little bit about, who you are and what you do, and we'll get into what you know.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, yeah. Thank you so much, Dawn, for putting this all together. And I will definitely share my screen so you don't have to see my morning face anymore. So let me just get that going.
I like face. You look good over there.
I have pajama bottoms on the bottom, believe it or not, so nobody could see.
You know what? Yeah, see, we never even would know. I know, right? That's the nice thing about this kind of format.
Oh my goodness, I'm not technical at all, believe it or not, but let's see if I could.
That's okay. Share something, we'll tell you what we see.
All right, let me see if I could share. Oh, start share. Okay, I think I got it.
Let's see. Yeah, it's starting. Yep, marketing, planning through action.
Got it. Okay. You can say it. Okay, perfect. So, hi, everybody. So I'm Sharon Arena, and thank you so much, Dawn, for this. Dawn and I we met at a networking event, and, we definitely hit it off. I love how she's just so ready to do what it takes to just get in there and get out there and just really make it happen for herself. So, certainly appreciate that. So I want to talk about it's so important, and I work with this with clients all the time. And so pretty much Salty Red Dog Marketing, been in business. I've been doing sales and marketing for about 20 years, and I'm a third generation business owner. So I really see what it takes you have to market yourself, and it's all planning, and we all love what we do. We love it. But how do we really market ourselves? How do we market ourselves? You have to have a plan in place. You have to have some idea, because especially when we talk about social media, you can't just throw things out there and hope it sticks to a wall. You really have to have some sort of plan. If you think about these big successful companies, sometimes they have a marketing plan, which is hundreds and hundreds of pages. But it's so important too. And I took a class recently in New York City about a month ago, and they were talking about mission statements and what's your tagline. And I thought, mission statement? I said, I know what my mission statement is. Oh, that's easy. I can figure it out. But really, it was when I really thought about it, and when I was kind of challenged to do it, I thought, oh, wow, maybe I don't know my mission statement. Maybe I really need to sit down and figure it out. And you know what? Going back to creating a marketing plan really helped fill the cracks in the foundation of it can fill the cracks of your business in the foundation. And that's what I like to say is with any business, whether you're starting, whether you've been doing it for quite some time, you have to just reinforce that foundation, and you have to build it strong before you can really start building up. So one of the things is the fun of marketing, especially doing it for yourself, is, just you post content, and you can't just, again, cross your fingers and hope to get engagement. I mean, running your own business means you have to constantly market yourself and promote yourself and how you can help your clients. And people don't care what you do, because there could be 1,000 of you of what you do, but how can you help them? So the first thing is, there we go. So you want to be able to write down your thoughts. I know I do my thinking when I'm on a long car ride. So sometimes I'll do like a talk to text and I'll type out some notes talking to them. Even a Sunday morning, if you have a glass of wine, just anything you can do, just write down your thoughts and organize them. It's really not rocket science, and it doesn't have to be overly complicated. So if you had to think about a summary for your business, really, what would you say? Okay, so the basics. This is kind of your marketing summary. This is really kind of the introduction to your business. So, and whenever I do a marketing plan with somebody, we really take some of these factors into place. So you want to include some of these factors in your summary to really make it worthwhile. So I always suggest that prior to marketing your service or product, you need to know, who are you marketing to? So for an example, there was a little old man a couple years ago in Miami. He wanted to market his church, and he said about Snapchat. And I said, well, okay, Snapchat is great. This was a couple years ago, mind you, but it's not. We have to think about your target audience. So we looked on his Facebook page, and we noticed that 95% of his audience was women over the age of 95. Now, I'm sorry, they're not really going to be on Snapchat. So you have to really think, who is your target market? Is it moms? Is it business professionals? Is it executives? Are you targeting for teenagers? So your target market is really how you're going to define your demographics, such as age and gender. And you'll notice too that a lot of times now Facebook, with doing Facebook ads, and a lot of the trends of advertising now are getting away from age and gender and focusing more on interests and habits. Because if you think about groups, and also this particular groups, we're all here because we all have a common interest. So that is really going to help you define your target market by the interests and habits. Of course, demographics such as age and specifications such as mothers and professionals. Patty, if there's any questions, can you just let me know, and I'll be happy to stop. I can't see any.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I will, when there's a natural break, I'll get you. We don't have any just
Awesome.
yet. We're just chit-chatting about how we love what you're saying. So.
Sure. So once you clearly define your target, you'll be able to pinpoint your advertising better and get a higher return on investment. So we talk about situational analysis. So this part includes research and analysis of your target market, your competitors, your business challenges, and your company's competitive differences. So, and also make sure that you include your company's strengths and weaknesses. So, for example, I could say a weakness of mine is that I'm not techie at all. When it comes to sharing my screen on a Zoom call, it might take me a little bit. But some of my strengths are that I'm a listener, I'm a strategist, I'm a problem solver. So write that down because these are going to be some of your competitive advantages against others. And also, who's your competitors? Look, who are you competing against in your area? Most of us have online businesses, so we can reach clients nationally. So look at your 5 top competitors out there, and what are they doing? What are they doing on social media? Are they doing any kind of print or digital advertising? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? That's the thing with a lot of these companies who have been around for years and years and years, is they're looking, and if you're a company that's been around for 50 years or longer, you're constantly reevaluating your plan, you're reevaluating your market. If you think about somebody who just stayed with print advertising forever, they're not going to really make it to 2019, 2020. So you have to constantly reevaluate what you're doing and stay in the competitive game. Then you have your service analysis, your marketing objective, and strategy, and we're going to talk more about that. So the next factor, come on, there we go. Okay, so your situation analysis. I like to talk about the 5 C's, which are company, collaborators, your clients, your competitors, and also your climate or your context. So, and really, wouldn't it be nice if you didn't have to worry about your competitors constantly invading your space or stealing your customers? I mean, I know I've had it. I've had competitors try to steal clients, and it happens. And unfortunately, businesses, they shouldn't work like that. Chances are that there's already a competitor out there that's doing something similar to you, which means that you need to figure out how are you going to stand out even more to a prospect. So if a prospect comes to you asking questions, chances are they're probably maybe talking to 2 or 3 other people. So you have to figure out how are you going to stand out from everybody else. Again, it's not so much what services or products that you offer, it's how can you really help them. So in order to satisfy the needs of your clients, you need to understand your external and your internal strengths. And one of the best ways to figure that out is, again, using these 5 C's. So if you talk about your company, so write down your company and then write down your services or your products that you offer. You want to write down what kind of brand or image that you want to have in the market. So do you want to be known as a leader in your industry? Of course. Do you want to be known, you want to make sure that your brand also is consistent throughout the market. What's your company's experience in the industry? And also what kind of culture are you marketing to? And what are your goals? And we're going to talk more about goals too. Collaborators. So who are your suppliers? Who are your vendors? Who are your distributors? Who are the people that are most important that helps you function as a business, as a company? Clients. So this is a big one. So we want to talk about your clients. So the market size and the growth, the benefits that the clients see. What are the benefits that you're bringing to your client? And you have to think about another thing too, is that your thinking is going to be different than your client. You have to put yourself into your client's shoes and think about the decision processes that they go through on how they find you and how they hire you. So you have to think about what is going to motivate them behind making a purchase. And also the retail factor. So where are your clients going to go in order to find you, in order to purchase? Are they going to find you online? Are they going to find you in an event? Are they going to find you on Google? And where also do they find out about your services? So they may find out about you, but how can they find out about your services? So, and that's another thing I touched on, another talk I did yesterday about LinkedIn. You want to make sure that clients, if they go to your LinkedIn page, if they go to your website, that they can easily get in touch with you. If they go to your LinkedIn or if they go to your website and they don't see an easy way to find you, guess what? They're leaving your website. They're going to go to the next guy because they're not going to try to search for your information. Buying process. So does your typical client have to ask a lot of questions? Do they buy on impulse? Sometimes a lot of us, we might have products or services that they can buy directly online. So it might be something of an impulse, or I know with my clients, sometimes we have to talk about it and they do ask a lot of questions, which is great. And frequency of purchase. So sometimes some people might be in a seasonal service. I know this in August, I mean, a lot of things were dead. People are away on vacation. We had the holidays. So things could be seasonal. So you have to factor that into your marketing plan as well. I always look at downtime as a positive thing because it's a great way that I can actually sit there now and focus on my marketing plan, focus on my goals, write things down. Also, do your clients tend to purchase one service, 2 service? And think about too, if do your clients tend to, if they purchase a bunch of services from you, you should think about also putting packages together, because a package would be easier to sell to a client and offer to a client than all individual services. And trends. So how do your clients' needs change over time? So for instance, maybe a year or so ago, I was really trying to promote the Google Plus, but now Google Plus is kind of, Google Plus is Google's way of that they were trying to do what Facebook is doing. But now it's okay. So I took everybody off of Google Plus because now the clients, a lot of people aren't going to Google Plus, and now let's focus on a different say LinkedIn or Facebook more. So you have to just think about the trends out there and focus on how your client, how their needs are going to change. Your competitors. So again, write down your competitors, write down your competitors in your town, in your region, in your nation. Are they direct? Write out their services. Are they offering services that maybe you should offer as well?
And just one thing right there, Sharon, I wanted to mention about the packages. I know, like in what we do, a lot of times folks are like, oh, I'm not really sure like what kind of package could I offer, but I know a couple of people in the group offer like initial consultation roadmap packages. So I just wanted to throw that out there as a little idea.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always great to offer a complimentary consultation. But yeah, packages are really great. And I know with a lot of what we do with our clients, I love saying to clients that we build a long-term relationship with you, because it's not just, one and done and then I forget about you. It's really a long-term relationship where you're going to walk with your client through the whole package process. And then you want your climate, so some environmental factors. So you want to think about if there's any kind of political or regulatory environment. So sometimes I work with people in the financial industry, so they have a lot of policies and regulations, so that you have to be mindful for that. Economical environments such as inflation or interest rates, and then also your social and cultural environment. So I'm not going to get too much into it, but like you could see what Nike just did. And okay, so the one thing I can say about Nike is that they definitely got a reaction. And with any kind of marketing, you want to get some sort of engagement. I mean, I always say that it's better to have some sort of engagement, whether negative or positive, than nothing at all. But you have to be mindful too, because of what could happen. And technology. So you need to know what kind of, it's so important to keep track of what's happening in your industry and the technology, because you don't want a client to come to you and say, well, what about this? And you're like, huh? So you want to be sure that you take some time to read and educate yourself. I mean, that's what you have to understand, again, your clients and also the trends and the technology. So some marketing strategies. It's so great to outline your goals. I have about 3 whiteboards, and we'll talk about that. So now that you kind of have a basic idea of who your target market is and your business summary, it's really time to outline a good strategy. And this is the time to get creative and detailed. So it's really great to start with some goals. And when we work on a marketing plan with clients, we talk about their goals. We talk about their 1-year goal, their 5-year goal, all the way up to 15-year goals, and sometimes even what's happening within the next 90 days. Some of this training I just did in New York City was great because we focused on our goals and we worked backwards. And this is a really great way to kind of figure out a strategy for yourself. So if you think about, okay, where do you want to be and where does your business want to be in the next 15 years, write it out. And then write down the steps on what you need to do in order to get there. How are you going to get to your 15-year goal? Write it out. Then go to your 10-year goal. Again, write out your 10-year goal and then write down the steps that you're going to need to get there. And I know it sounds silly, but when you write it out, I know myself, I'm a visual person. And when I write it out, it's like, wow, okay, I just wrote a map for myself. This is great. Even write down your 90-day goals, write down your 1-year goals, and what steps do you need? I mean, goals are great, but without putting the steps down to get there, it doesn't really mean, it's just a goal without a plan of action. So you want to write down these plans of actions in order to get to your goals. And isn't it great? I know writing out is great. You can type it out, but just something about crossing it off and checking it off that's the best feeling in the world. So we could really, so other things that we want to talk about is with goals is the objectives that you want to accomplish. And are there any specific targets that you want to hit? So let's just say 2019, you want to hit a specific area or a specific market. And then maybe 2020, you want to kind of focus on a different niche with your business. We can break it down even more. I mean, there's so many different types of strategies. So I know a lot of us, I know myself, we always talk about a pricing strategy. So this is so important because your pricing is really part of your business. If you want to be known as a leader in your industry and a premier brand, having a low price will actually make clients kind of run off because they're going to think, oh my goodness, why are they so cheap? Why are they so inexpensive? That must be me because they're not good. And also so you want to look also, and that goes with the analysis of your competitors. What are your competitors in a similar size business? What are they charging? You don't want to be the most expensive. You don't want to be the cheapest, but you don't want somebody to run away because they think about, okay, well, I'm getting what I paid for. And the people that you're going to attract from having low prices are not really going to be the type of clients that you want to work with. The promotional strategies. These are how you're going to reach your new clients. And when you think of where the majority of your clients are they on Facebook? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they maybe an older crowd where they're going to look at a newspaper before maybe going to a trade show? So some promotional strategies are, digital advertising, social media. Sometimes it's great to write press releases, print ads. Another important strategy, and this is this one, is the retention strategy. So that's great. You have clients. How are you going to keep them? Because somebody's going to come along in maybe a couple months or a year and offer something better. So you have to think about the retention. How are you going to keep your clients? I mean, I've seen this so many times with businesses. They get people once and then they can't keep them. So you have to think about, it's always great that's where this long-term relationship comes into play with a client, because you want to make sure that if they have any issues along the way, that they're not going to just leave you without communicating. I mean, you want to make sure that you're taking care of them every step of the way so they don't leave you. So one suggestion is a monthly newsletter. Newsletters and email marketing has about a 40% return on investment. It's great. It's a gentle reminder of, hey, this person's here. I'm still out here. Look at the things that I'm doing. It's a little gentle top of the mind trick. Also for your clients too, maybe you can have some sort of loyalty program. If they sign on with you for say 6 months, you can offer them a discount. So there's all different things, but you want to think about retention and how are you going to keep your clients. And then of course there's the online marketing strategy. So some of the majority of prospects will go online to find and review a product. So think about it now. A lot of people will go online and they'll Google you, your product. How are they going to find you? There are 4 components to making sure that your online strategy will really gain a competitive advantage, and that's the keyword strategy. So you want to make sure, especially with your website, your social media, anywhere where you're online, that your keywords are really going to be in line with what you do. Again, look at some of the keywords that your competitors have on their websites. If you're within a specific niche, make sure that you write that down too. Make sure that you're putting keywords that if you were going to look at something, that you would type into Google, and utilize that. So, and then you want to make sure that if you do have a website, that your SEO, that it's on point. Make sure that it's filled out, the back end. Make sure that you use those keywords on your SEO as well. Again, it's all about how can people find you. They're going to put in specific keywords in order to find you. And then, of course,
one quick question there, Sharon. Like, are you thinking also, you were talking about having your customers stay with you and creating that relationship? Are you thinking putting reviews online would be helpful as well, like people that you've worked with, or is that you're going to talk about that later?
So online reviews, yeah, I mean, that's of course we can talk about that later. Online reviews, that's a good way to help market yourself even more. Of course, if you just worked on a project with somebody and it was really great, it's great to always ask for a review. So people are going to look at reviews on Google. They're going to look at reviews on Facebook. And also, it's always nice to ask for recommendations on LinkedIn as well. I mean, the worst case scenario is, and people ask all the time, well, how do I ask for reviews? How do I ask for recommendations? You have to ask. If you don't ask, then they're not going to do it. So, and the worst thing that's going to happen is people are going to say, oh, well, no, I'm not going to do it. Okay, no big deal. But yeah, it's important. I know I look at reviews. So yeah, you definitely want to ask for reviews. Google has a way that you can actually, you should have a Google My Business account and Google Analytic account. I'm such a fan of that because you can really see where clients are finding you and how they're going, how they're getting to your website. So whether it's direct, organic, if they're finding you if they're clicking on your website from Facebook, from Instagram, and you can also see the demographics too of the people that are finding you. So it's great. For some reason, 25-year-old men always come to my website. I don't know why, but that seems to be the largest group. So, but again, it could change. So it's always in real time. So it's always great to learn the analytics, because then it can kind of give you an idea of where you need to be and how you can adjust. But yes, the online reviews, there's a way that you can set up an online review where you can create a link that you can easily email to your clients and say, hey, I just thank you so much. I'm glad you had a great experience. If you wouldn't mind just leaving me a quick review, and then that way they can just click on this link and a Google review box will just pop up. So that way they don't have to go through the whole process of google.com, trying to find you, trying to find a review. So we want to keep it easy and simple for clients. But yeah, that's great. Definitely. And then, so going back to the online marketing, you want to also think about another strategy is some paid online ads. So like Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, Google ads, there's digital ads, there's banner ads, there's so many different kinds. So you really have to figure out what's going to be best for you. And then of course the social media strategy. So how are you going to use social media to attract potential clients? And we could talk a whole 3 hours on social media strategies. So your marketing objective, it's just don't get discouraged. I mean, no matter what, stay motivated. The thing I talk about with people is most of us are entrepreneurs and we all had a full-time job. Most of us had a full-time job that we couldn't stand and we just wanted to go do our own thing. And I always say that turning into an entrepreneur is like jumping into a pool. You got to jump. You got to do it. And you may sink to the bottom of the pool at first, but just keep swimming. And you know what? You may not be the best swimmer at first, but you keep going, stay motivated. There isn't a manual on how to run your business perfect. I wish there was, but there isn't. We're always going to run into objections all the time, and it's best to just learn from them and move on and take them with a grain of salt. So a lot of the common objections that we all see is, I know the biggest one is the limited funds. We have clients who, yes, they want to work with us, but they have no money. So I get it. We all get it. We've all been there. But you know what, just again, show them. They're going to be hesitant maybe at first, like, oh my goodness, okay, well, this is the price and I can't really afford it. So you know what, just show them the value behind what you're offering. And also it's good to kind of understand maybe their body language, watch for signs of fear and take measures to show them how they can recover their investment quickly. So one example is, I know people sometimes are nervous to put money behind Facebook ads or maybe even social media. I mean, the biggest rebuttal I always get is, well, why do I have to pay you for social media when it's free? So, but then I just nice. And I show them the value behind what I'm giving them. One example I love to tell people is there is a company that spent $47,000 on Facebook ads 1 year, $47,000 on Facebook ads. I know it sounds crazy, but they wound up getting $1 million back on a return on investment. So it just kind of goes to show that sometimes you have to show clients that, yes, this is an investment, but again, show them the value behind it. They want to see what you can give to them, what kind of value you can bring to them. You're going to get clients who just don't get it. a lot of what I do with my business is social media. So I have people that constantly come to me and says, well, I want 1 million followers. And I said, okay, well, that's great. But you can have 1 million followers, but really how many of those, you can buy followers, but how many of those followers are actually going to turn into an actual client? So you want to just kind of, it's so great to just really explain and make sure that before you move on with a client or a prospect that you're both on the same page. Obviously they connected with you for a reason because they like you, but is it the right reason? And also never think that the client is automatically understands what you're talking about or what you're going to be doing. A little hand holding in the beginning really goes a long way, and take the time to explain to them what you're going to be doing and see if they have any questions. Questions are great. And then again, just make sure that you're both on the same page before moving forward. Sometimes you can be courting a prospect for a very long time because their decision making. And we've all had it, maybe courting a client for about 6 months because we don't know, they haven't made a decision yet. Ask them and say, is there more people involved in this decision making? And really, what kind of objectives do they have? Some people could be doubtful with your services. And again, just reassure them, walk them through the entire process from start to finish on what you're doing. And they'll be grateful, really, especially if it's their first time. So any kind of objection, it's really just a question. So if you have a prospect that's asking for more information for making a decision, treat every objection as it was a question. And then again, ask if there's more people involved in the decision making. So it's not fun when you have to deal with, say, 10 or 20 people in a decision making. But again, just treat every objection as a question. And of course, sometimes you're going to get bad vibes with somebody, and clients want to work with you for a reason, but make sure it's the right reason. And people will choose you because maybe they like your style or attitude, and people a lot of times will make decisions off of emotions. So remember to just be professional, communicate, and respect. So really some habits to avoid when you're going to be marketing yourself and you're going through this objection process is you just really want to try to pinpoint and understand the objection that they have. So many times prospects will get lost. So sometimes I'll send a proposal out, but I always ask them, I say, let's go over this proposal together, because sometimes it gets super intimidating and they have no idea. It looks like I just sent them a manual in Spanish.
And I just wanted to mention at that point there, a lot of times we do assume, like with what we do, we do it all day, every day. So, creating online training, and a lot of clients really do not understand, we need time with the subject matter experts, and then we're really going to create something that's very scenario based. And so the first thing you're going to see is this deliverable, and then you're going to see this deliverable. And so that's something that I have certainly learned, is to really walk them through what deliverables they're going to get, and how the process evolves and to their end product. That it's super helpful. I mean, some people don't even know what a storyboard is. So if I say, hey, I can really help you with a storyboard, they don't even know what that means. So just kind of relating it back to that.
Exactly. Yeah. For almost like you're doing a marketing proposal for dummies, and it's okay. I mean, again, your clients will they'll be so happy that you break it down, like you said, Patty. And again, they want to work with you for a reason. They like you, they like your style. And you don't want them to get lost. Especially, you don't want them to get lost, because if they get lost or if they get confused, they're not going to want to work with you, because they're going to think that it's just the whole entire process is going to be like that. Another habit to really avoid is you don't want to interrupt or really anticipate what the person's trying to say. You'll probably misunderstand or really offend the prospect, and the person's going to be much more relaxed if you let them talk. Let them talk. Let them explain their objections. Let them explain their rebuttals, and just don't confront them about their objection. I mean, look, they might, and I know I've had this too. They might ask the same question or have the same objective over and over and over and over again. Don't get annoyed. It's as much as we want to just scream and be like, oh, why don't you get this? Like Patty just said, like we do it every day and we understand it. So it just calmly just answer the question. It's okay. Don't interrupt them. Listen to them. And don't place any emphasis on the objection. It may just be a simple question. And just whenever you're answering an objection, avoid using the phrases "I suggest" and "as you know." And I know sometimes I've accidentally done it where, well, as you know, or we already talked about this. Just don't do that, because clients aren't going to be happy with that. And I left this one purposely blank because we're going to talk about the implementation now. As I mentioned before, I love my whiteboards. I just got 3 whiteboards. I never had them before. I was always like, yes, I'm going to just, write everything down in a planner, or I'm going to write it on my computer. I'm going to type everything out. But I'm a huge visual person, so I need to actually see it, and it so helps me. So I have 3 whiteboards, and this could so help you with this marketing plan. It really can. So one of my whiteboards is my goals. So again, I write down almost like a calendar. I write down my 90-day goals, my 1-year goal, my 5-year, 15, 10, and I write it down. I get nice markers. I write it down and make it to the way that I like to look at it. And it's so nice to just write it out. And every day when I go to work and I can visually just see it, and it's like a little reminder that, oh my goodness, I wrote down goals. I used to say that a goal isn't really a goal without a plan. I mean, you need to have a plan of action, and writing down the steps to get to these goals and actually visually seeing it is, I tell you, it is so helpful, especially for somebody like me. My boyfriend said I'm the most organized person ever. So having these whiteboards is great. Another whiteboard is my sales pipeline. I love it. I recently did incorporate a CRM system, but I like to visually see it. So I have a nice sales pipeline that I find very helpful for myself. I get these really fancy, colorful Post-it notes, and I write them down, and then I can visually see the process. And it'll help me if I'm really swamped with a particular project. It'll be a nice little reminder that, oh yes, I need to remember this person. I need to follow up with this person. It's just a really great way of keeping track of your sales process too. Another whiteboard that I have is also my accounts receivable and my accounts payable. So that is something like, look, we all love what we do, but when it comes to running the back end of your business, sometimes it can be really stressful. I know myself, I am not a bookkeeper. I'm not a numbers person. But again, if I can visually see what's going out and coming in, it really helps me run my business. It helps run my sales pipeline. It helps run my goals. In the end, it just overall really, really helps with the whole marketing process, because marketing and sales go hand in hand. Your goal is to make sales, and you can't make sales without marketing. So yeah, we can go on and on about some of this stuff, but this is really the basics. And this is pretty much it. I hope you all really kind of enjoyed this presentation. I know it's a lot, but really spend a Sunday morning over coffee and just write down some of your goals. If anything, write down your target market. There's so many people that you have a really great product, you have a great service, but really just think about your target market, think about your goals, start thinking about 2018. We're almost ending our 3rd quarter. So think about your 4th quarter, think about 2018. And we're all in some sort of a digital online. So it's so important to now look at some of the marketing trends in 2018. Videos right now in 2018, 2020 are going to be huge. Podcasts are going to be huge in 2018, 2020. So start thinking about ways that you can implement that and offer that to your clients. Clients are going to be so happy that you are paying attention to your industry, and that, yeah, you are actually a leader in your industry. So I'll be happy to take any questions.
Yeah, thanks so much, Sharon. Oh my gosh, my mind is like going crazy with like all kinds of, I think also what this type of topic does is it just generates a lot of ideas. I mean, my goodness, you just gave such a rich, dense presentation there. So thanks so much for putting that together for us.
I'll be happy to email all these notes. So, if anybody wants to email me, I'll be more than happy to email everything I just said, because I know it was a lot.
Yeah, and then I'll also be putting this up for everyone on Slack so we can, they can go back through it as well. So that's great. So to the community here, what questions do you have for Sharon while we've got her with us? Or do you have any ideas that you want to share, or just questions in general? One of those like, what do you do for this? What do you do for that type of questions? While we're waiting on folks to weigh in, I just wanted to mention, you talked about like different, niches, earlier. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of us, when we start off, we don't really know, like, what is our niche? And this has been a topic that we've kind of talked about a little bit before. I know, like, one of our community members, Carrie Avery, she is in the law enforcement niche, and so she can speak the language. So it's more about the topic, which is really interesting, because then she could build a blog all about that, and really she knows exactly who her audience is. And for a while, I was in a bit of a niche on, speakers, like author speakers who want to put their content online. So that's not really topic based, but it's, individuals who kind of are in the same boat and are looking for the same goals. So anyway, it's an interesting thing to really sit and think about, like, what is, your niche?
Yeah, and it can change. It really can. I mean,
yeah.
When I first started, I was just social media, and then I thought, okay, well, social media is just, I can't just focus on that. I have to kind of adjust with what's happening and what's trending. And so, yeah. And then also thinking about, like, look, not everybody's going to use social media. So it's good to kind of have a niche on also people that don't use it, and also focusing on some other things. So yeah. And I'm just looking at everybody's chat right now, and I love Wave. I absolutely love it. So I'm agreeing with you. And yeah. One app that I absolutely love, I don't know if it was mentioned here, but I'm going to type it out, is Wunderlist. It's so great. It's like an online to-do list, and I love printing it out every week, and I can kind of keep track of what's going on and what I need to do. Anything to help with productivity, because with implementation is the productivity and just being able to focus on. Yes, Dawn. Wunderlist is great. It is.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. I've never heard of it, so that's really awesome. Mm-hmm. Christy has a question. If you know, what CRM do you recommend for a one-person business like most of us have? Do you have any recommendations on that?
So I just did HubSpot, one, because for myself it's free, and it was a great way for me to keep track. Of course, there's different things that you can use. There's different applications and different, you can expand it. One of the ones I heard the other day was there's Flock. There was also another one. There's so many out there. Yeah, free is good. That's why I went to Wave, because I said, I'm not going to be paying $60 a month for QuickBooks. But there's so many out there. You really just have to find the one that you like. I liked HubSpot because it also had a sales pipeline in it. So that's why I liked it, but there's so many other ones. There's ones with timers on it, so you can keep track with your time. I think there's Nutshell. There's so many out there. You just really have to find the one that's right for you, and of course in your budget.
Great. That's really good recommendations. And then we have another question from Dawn. Could you discuss social media strategies and types? How do you determine what specifically will work for you, other than demographics?
So you don't need to be on every single social media platform out there. It's okay. You don't need to be on Twitter. You don't need to be everywhere. Just pick a couple and just be good at it. And again, I always think of, where are my clients? Where are they going? Where are they spending their most time? So I did a survey the other day about really who spends more time doing Facebook Live videos compared to Instagram stories, and about 85% of people actually use Instagram stories more than Facebook Live. So that's a huge market. If you haven't tried to do any Instagram stories yet, try it. I love it. It's so much fun. That's for the fun stuff. If you do use Instagram for your business, if your market is more the executive types, then of course I would highly recommend LinkedIn, be engaging on LinkedIn, post some things on LinkedIn. The one thing I love about LinkedIn, and I talked about this yesterday, was when you have your LinkedIn profile, when you have your name and then underneath it has your little tagline, don't just put video expert, put down something who you can help. So let's just say I could put social media strategist for business owners there, right then and there. So people automatically know who I am and what I do. And the great thing about engaging on LinkedIn is when you are commenting on maybe a connection or a second connection, and when you comment on like Facebook, people will see your name and then they'll also see your little tagline. So people will be like, huh, who's that? I'm going to click on them. I'm curious. With Facebook, that is more a general market. Facebook is great if you're targeting, say, moms, or if you're going to be targeting, and if you're looking to, you need to have a Facebook business page or profile. It's also just to have that digital footprint in there as well. Yeah, and LinkedIn, and make sure too, I talked about this yesterday, make sure that your LinkedIn profile is updated. You don't want it, I mean, if you haven't updated your LinkedIn profile in 6 months, get off this chat right now and go do and go do it. And make sure your contact information is correct on there. I mean, LinkedIn is such a great place because it's a great place to connect, to look at different referral sources, get involved in conversation and groups. It's so great.
Yeah, it's funny because I actually updated mine, I don't know, a couple of months ago, and even now I had already forgotten what I'd put. But I do remember when I looked at it, I thought, who wrote this? Because, you know, you really change, your business changes, you know, like the type of client that I'm looking for changes. You know, like I've said before, you know, I've been doing this about 3 years, the independent route. And when I first started, it's just like, who are you? I want to work with you. And now it's just like, you know, I'm really trying to, and also in the beginning, I did things like making myself sound like a we and much bigger. And because I didn't know if I wanted to go the agency route or what I wanted to do. And now it's like, nope, just me. And, you know, I really like laid back, casual companies. I'm not really looking as much for those formal executive, you know, types, just because I know I work better, you know, with certain, and even that to me is a niche, but,
right.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree with you. I had a woman who wouldn't hire me because I wasn't corporate-y enough, and goodbye. That's fine. That's totally fine. So you gotta find your, and somebody that's going to get me and you know, a relationship is all about communication, compromise, trust, respect, whether it's a business, a personal relationship. It's, yeah, absolutely. I mean, as John said, we're all creative types. So, and people, when they're working with something with marketing, they don't want to be with somebody who's so stuffy. I mean, they could, that's great, but they want somebody who's going to be kind of emotional and nurturing along with the process.
Well, and it just reminds me, there's a lady, her name is Kristen Kalp. I don't know if anybody has seen any of her stuff, but she is kind of like a business, I don't know what she is really. She helps, she's like kind of like a business strategist. So she helps you if you're stuck. So for instance, I used her when I had a manuscript, but no physical book. And I needed to have a physical book, and I just needed someone to tell me what to do to make it come to be in my hand. And she is like, she offers packages. She calls herself the package that I had, it was like a dominatrix, you know, type thing, because she basically just tells you what to do and you do it. And that worked out really well for me. But I remember somebody at the time was asking me, they were, you know, kind of at a weird spot in their own business, and I just know their personality and they would not jive with her whatsoever. But she doesn't want to work with that type of person. And that's fine. She's got enough business working with, you know, people who are little nuts like me that wear kapow earrings and weird, you know, have weird hair and all that kind of stuff. So it's just, it really is like when you have your own business and you're a one-person shop, it's like, who do you really, you know, jive with? So
yeah, no, you're so right. And it's okay to say no. It's okay to turn down business.
Yeah.
We have to remember that it's not the end of the world.
There's a whole world of opportunities. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let your competitors take that person that you don't want to deal with. You'll be thanking yourself.
Yeah.
To Dawn's question about connecting with people and exchanging a couple of messages first on LinkedIn. Yes, I'm sure we've all got it. I maybe every other day I get a message on LinkedIn about joining Road and Fields, and I can't, it's like, I can't stand it. But, you know, it's so great to make a connection with somebody who could be, if you look at LinkedIn, it's like, okay, LinkedIn is like online networking. So somebody said this yesterday. Well, what if you're in a LinkedIn group or there's a person, think about when you're in an actual physical networking group. You're not going to sit there. You're not going to sit against the wall and watch everybody. You want to get in and jump in and introduce yourself, and you want to start a conversation, engage with that person. Think of it the same way that you're going to do that on LinkedIn as well. Introduce yourself. Hi, how are you? I see we know so-and-so. We have a common interest. I'd love to get to know you. I'd love to connect with you. So it's literally, you're doing the same thing that you would at a networking event, and you're going to do it on LinkedIn as well. So, and oh my goodness, yes, don't be salesy. Don't pitch yourself. Do not do that. It's all about a warm referral, warm introduction. I had to put do not solicit on my profile. It does not work. But yeah, you're going to get those people who are just constantly just pounding the LinkedIn, just trying to get business from you. Yeah, but be personable. People, you want to build that warm relationship, whether it's on LinkedIn or not. It's okay. Make the introduction. If they don't get in touch with you, no big deal. It's not the end of the world. But LinkedIn is a great way. I don't know who else is in a BNI, a Business Networking International. I know I am, and it's like, and every week people have a particular ask for somebody. So one trick I love with LinkedIn is, let's just say somebody is looking for a particular person at a hotel chain. Well, you can look up that particular person on LinkedIn and see if you have a mutual connection, and ask that mutual connection if you can make a warm introduction to that person that BNI was asking for. So that's another great way that you can utilize LinkedIn. You can use it for cross marketing, as a great referral source. Yeah. And also too, like what Christy said, be personable, because I get messages too that say hi, comma, and then the generic message. It's like, hello, why don't you write hi, Sharon? Write my name. Or I'll have people that'll say, hey, I see, do you need help with social media marketing for your business? I'm like, duh, did you even read my profile? So yeah, you're gonna get all those types.
I get that too. People are like, hey, we create online training. Do you need some for your business? I'm like, no, that is my business. So no.
Yep. Exactly.
Odd.
Yeah. I know it's sad, but it's the truth. And it's just, but there are some really good connections that you can make. LinkedIn is great, and just to be posting and articles and share all your videos on there as well. People want to look at you, and they're going to work with you because you're going to be a leader. You're an expert in what you know. You're sharing useful information. So it's staying on the top of mind of everybody's mind. That's the thing. When people think of somebody who does training videos, they're going to think of you because, oh, look, Patty just posted, Dawn just posted, Christy just posted. This is great.
Yeah. Thanks so much for that. Yeah, that's all great advice there. Dawn had something that she wanted to say, so I'm just going to switch over to Dawn since we've only got a couple minutes left here. She might be on mute. Well, that's okay. When she gets back, we will let her say her piece. We've only got a couple minutes left. Does anybody else have any burning social media marketing questions? Of course, we can talk about this at our next community hour and also on Slack, but while we've got Sharon here, anything we wanted to make sure we got answered?
Yeah, writing down this marketing plan and the goals, yes, it's you may roll your eyes at it, but it's something so important, and it's something that even these big corporate executives and CEOs that they do. And as I mentioned, sometimes theirs are about 100 pages, but it's so great to just relook at it every year. If you have problems writing a marketing plan, of course, there's places like SCORE. You can find a mentor that can really help you. There's a lot of resources online, but it's so great when you have a goal that you have a plan of action and you write down the steps.
Yeah. That makes sense.
John, you're
it's just like
marketing. Oh goodness. Oh my goodness.
Dawn, are you back now? Did you have something that you wanted to say? Nope. Okie doke. Well, I just wanted to say thanks again so much for sharing your wisdom with us. I mean, like I said, this is such a big topic for us. I mean, you know, it's like, how do you get business if you don't know, you know, marketing? And I think we've cobbled little pieces together, probably each of us for our own business, but it's really good to have someone that's really, you know, great, you know, kind of an expert in this field. So we really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us this morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where we all are.
I love talking about this stuff. Are you kidding?
That's awesome. That's how I think we all feel about, you know, online training. So.
Yeah, and think about too, Michelle said about it was a good push. I'm glad. And you always want to think like 3 steps ahead. So right now it's September. Think about marketing yourself for like the fall. Think about the holidays. Think about 2019. Just be 5 steps ahead.
Yeah, makes sense. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your week. And Sharon, thanks again. And
Sure.
I'll post this up online. It might be on Monday. I'm heading out to the airport right now, but I'll send you the link as well, Sharon. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye.